Hi, I'm Jeremy. Welcome to our farm, Cornucopia Orchards. We are out in the house. It's a nice stormy day outside, as wintertime often is. And we are working on some fire blocking. So every time I look at our plans, I see something I didn't realize before. And one of the things I realized was I did not put fire blocking at the stairs. And I honestly couldn't tell you if that's because I failed to understand that they were supposed to be at the stairs. It's in the plans. It does say what to do. Or if I said, I will come back to that because I don't want it to interfere with the insulation or what. And here's the relevant passage from the framing notes provided in our plans, which I did look up, and the best I could tell, yes, it's code in Oregon. But first, I had to pull a little bit of wiring that came down to this closet for lights, and this plug right here for the kitchen, and the water heater wire. I have this side cut and ready to go in 2x4 because that's what this wall is. And you know, I wish I'd done it in 2x6 because that would have made this a lot easier. But I don't think it's worth going back and furring it out over, so we're gonna go ahead and proceed as is. But there's supposed to be fire block here and here at the stairs. So this one makes my life very interesting in particular because I was planning on running a bunch of water lines right up through there for the second floor bathroom and everything going on up there. And probably this one, which at least isn't at an angle, but that's going down and across and through to the laundry room stuff. One of those ones here on these two rows will almost certainly be where I take it through. Well, that's what they make Fireblock foam for, I guess. I'm just gonna do it and drill the holes I need to, and away we go here. And in this particular case, while it might be slightly inconvenient, this would have been ideal to have done this while we were working on the framing, or at least before we started the trades. It makes sense for this to happen, and fire blocking it's important. Not just because it's code, but because it serves a useful function. So what is fire blocking and how does it work? And so at the bottom of the stairs, you have your sheetrock to protect fire from being able to go through for an hour. And here within the walls, you don't want the flames to be able to skip from the first floor where we've got them isolated, maybe if it started in this mechanical closet in here. You don't want them to be able to skip to the second floor and keep going. And so you fire block it here. And they have you do both the top and the bottom of that space. And if I had to guess, it'd be because if there's any way for it to get through, then it's still blocked from going down. Typically fire will travel up much faster than down, so that's usually the concern is vertical travel. So this will need to be Fireblock foamed, and that's going to happen after the rough trades inspections, before the framing inspection. And this is a unneeded hole right here. I don't think we're using this for anything. No, actually that's not true. That's where this is coming through. That's the light for the closet. And that's the easiest place to bring it in, so I probably will go ahead and reinstate that. And this will also need to be fire blocked right in here once this is ready and installed. And I still have left to do the angle cuts. Let's get that angle board cut. So I got the first angle board wrong. We're gonna try this one. I think this is right. Stair angle opposite of the stair angle. This one doesn't have a notch in and out for a, fitting into a corner. And let's find out if this is correct. Okay. So there's something funny going on up there. Oh, there it is. So I'm trying very hard to be a good boy and to work safely, which not first nature to me. It takes some effort. One thing that I've found is that the further your hands are away from what you're nailing, the safer you're going to be. And a hammer is an excellent tool for keeping your hands well away from the nailer. There we go. So the next place that we're going to be doing the fire blocking for is on that same closet, and it's against the outer wall. And you might be thinking, which may have been what I was thinking, why I didn't do it earlier, well, how do I deal with the insulation? And the answer is, depending on your jurisdiction, you stuff a piece of insulation into that space and then you go ahead and cover it up when you're ready for your fire blocking. You definitely have to have it done before the framing rough inspection, because the framing rough inspection covers your fire blocking. You can see I've got these already pre-cut and they're ready to go in. I haven't secured them yet. And I'm gonna go up and measure, secure these, stuff the insulation in, and then right up here, I can still get into this space to nail off those pieces on the top. So long as I make them tight to where they won't fall down, I can put them in and then nail them off right down here without having to take off this sheathing. I'm not in construction. I've never been involved in house design or really any design, other than recently, I've applied myself to quite a few different types, I guess, starting with farm or permacultural design and moving on to, we renovated, completely rebuilt almost one remodel, and another one we did quite a bit of work to take a blank space more or less with some constraints in a basement and change it into something very usable. And this is a very different project in so many ways, and there was so much growth, so much that I had to learn, and I thought ahead of time that I'd done my research. And this is just one of many things where I learned along the way, and I think that that's the most important thing ultimately that I've gotten from this project, is that as long as you get the basics, it's more important that you start than it is that you be 100% ready. I could have spent a lot more time or never even started if I had allowed myself to try and make things perfect, make my understanding perfect versus jumping in. So that's a critical lesson that I've learned from this process. So rather than cutting a hole when we're done, this is already up, I just notched it out, and the fire block will go in there just fine, still secured, good to go. And on this side, I'm gonna probably notch these two, and this, I'll notch that side, but I gotta get this out of here. These do not work with notching like that. I'd have to pull all of this and rewire it back in. The top one, I could just dead end, and then not worry too much about that, but the bottom one's gonna be right where this is, so I'm gonna pull it. Pretty good progress for the day. Got these all done up, Still have to do these two here on this side, and then around the other side for this second floor to attic stairs. We're all done here except for this one right here. So I'll be able to finish that out and then move on. The other fire blocking for stairs that's not done yet is the outside wall all the way down to the bottom there. There's certain things I wish I had been smarter about. This is a big one. I gotta put blocking all on this rim underneath the stairs here. And this is an awfully small opening for a very large boy like myself. Second arm is problematic. Prefer not to take out even more boards, but I might have to if I'm going to get my fatness in here. Let's see here. Wonder if I... Nope. Okay. Not too shocked by that, to be honest. Somewhat unfortunate. There we go. I'll put that little piece of wall back when we're done. This is almost entirely hanging on the outside wall, so I'm 100% not concerned about that being temporarily out of there, and it sure does make it easier for me to squeeze in there. All right, got this nicely lit up as best as I can get it. I'm gonna block any view of light from the side with my person. So let's see if we can get in here. Oh, that's still unpleasant, but I would call it doable for me. Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no. Did I leave the hammer up there, Jeremy? All right, well, I'm going to find out if I can get out of here now. It's so dark in here. So I'm coming up with something I might be using that space for. I have to measure something else, but that's a strong possibility that I have a thought for that. So I'm just going to put in a single support until I have that figured out right there at the wall. And realistically, it's held. It has plenty of support. We're good on that. And everything else now, this little piece here, all of these voids back here, all the way up the stairs here, Just need to get the insulation cut and tucked in, and then I can start putting on these top ones. I'll have this video to show the inspector, and hopefully that's fine. It should be fine. Sorry to show the blocking. Here's the insulation in all the way through. This is the only external wall stairs, so we should be ready to rock and roll here and get this nailed off. Backed into a dark corner here, and the only view, if I set up my camera, would be from out there straight at my backside. So we're just going to show you and then get her done. I'm going to pre-attach, work on this guy here. I've got it set up to about the height that I want to be with blocking, and I've got a nice bead here all the way around, so that when I rest these up against each other, that's going to seal it. I'm going to put some more around it, either on the inside or the outside when I'm done, and then it's got screws going in. So I've been kind of doing a couple days of hardening on these, and then I'll flip or I'll work another piece. And right now we're working on getting this cap on. And with these ones that I'm building, I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm just using the S channels instead of the drive cleats, because these are entirely manufactured by me, and I'm not a great folder. I did use this guy for this cap and the equivalent on the other side, and this is just a nice 26 gauge. It should be rated for a big box like this with no additional supports. I think this is slightly less than 26, so we're overkill on these, and that should be good. This is out of a 24-inch sheet, and that's the waist, so hardly anything. It's pretty much perfect 21-inch box. And this is going to be our returner supply. I don't really know which yet. I think it's going to be our supply over top of the machine in the mechanical room. And all I did is essentially just, verify measure here inside the channel to the other side. And on this side, I went with the channel being actually both sides of this, I think, but for sure on this side, I went with the channel being all on the outside, and it's because of this. I didn't want to fight with that on the interior, and so this is just a little bit bigger than the box, like a true 21 instead of 20 7/8, and then that way it can fit over the outside, and it should be a pretty darn good seal when I'm done. You kind of just got to work this back and forth to get it to come down and be nice, and I've just been using a flat screwdriver. Like you can see here, this is a little bit bent outwards compared to where it needs to be, so you just have to persuade that a little. This piece can come in, but I don't want to push this in and then have it catch my finger is kind of the issue here. And you also got to work the second side at the same time. So this side is acting like it's going to be peachy keen about going in. And this one, because of that rib, I'm gonna have to pull it out slightly and just get it to start over. Then I can pull that. And that went in just fine. Actually went pretty nice. I'm gonna kind of just walk it back and get all the corners to come down. That's a nice fit. That's actually better than the last one I did, which was on the box over there. Ended up not doing it this way, or I didn't take into account, running on the outside. I ran it, I think, half on the outside, half on the inside, which is what I had found was working best for me on the branches, the 16 by 8, 14 by 8, and 12 by 8 metal branch ducts. And so this should be pretty easy to seal. Honestly, this is a better seal than what those come with. I always have issues with this gap right here at the corner, having to just plug that with goop. So this is a nice seal. This pretty much just comes apart after a day. And then once this has been released on the tip, a lot of times it'll just come right out. Yep, just come right out.
Having had a chance to work with this glue, this metal duct adhesive for a while now, I've gotten used to it, and more or less where we are right now is we're pretty much done, other than at the junction in the mechanical closet. And at this point, I would probably say that I would use this again over the tape, even if the code allowed me to use the tape. It is a lot cheaper, and I would probably buy the bucket and just use an old paintbrush to play, with getting it a nice thick layer around all the joints. The bucket is a lot less expensive per volume than the caulk, and I just have learned so much from this process.
Here's the finished product on this guy here, minus its lid. I just got to get that taped on, and it's glued, adhesive. It's not technically a mastic, whatever you want to call it. It's a metal duct adhesive, basically a mastic. So I did extend this one out with a little chunk and glued that, adhesive that. So that's nice and full now and ready to go. I did the inside as well, in case you're wondering. And we're almost ready to get that guy installed down below. So the best way for long lines with a straight for these I found is absolutely to snap it, score and snap. Can't do that with a hole like this. So, I can either use a hole saw bit, which maybe that's what I do here. Yeah, that's what I do. I was going to use this, but you know what? That's just silly. It works. That's an insulation knife, but it's meant for cutting soft insulation. So instead, we're going to just use a hole saw on this.
So I've definitely changed my way of thinking around, metal connections, and I think I have a lot better understanding about how the whole HVAC system works. Certainly, if I had my druthers, I think the system I would design now would be different than the way that I had envisioned this, but there are financial considerations, and ultimately at the end of the day, the system is going to work great, and it will have been a lot less expensive than it could have been. So hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of us soon and hearing a lot more from us, and we've got some exciting things on the way, and that's been part of why we've been a little bit slow to get these uploads done. I have a fair amount recorded. I just have not had the time to go through and work on getting them all edited and uploaded, so I'm going to try and get caught up. We'll get some more videos out, and some exciting news is coming.
Thanks for watching.
I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time here at Cornucopia Orchards.